This is the all-new Renault 4. Now in this video I'm going to tell you the price, what it's like to drive, and tell you some bits about the styling with nods to the original Renault 4. Now here's the thing, we all know that the Renault 5 was a huge success. So is this the difficult second album? Let's find out. Right, if you want a full detailed look around of the actual car, then go back and watch Ginny's video because that's a proper detailed look. But here are the nods that I've spotted. Ba-boom! Circular lights. Ba-boom! Lines down the front here, very nice nods. The later versions of the original Renault 4 had like panelling down the side, so they've done like 3 lines down here. It's like a nice nod. You've also got, boom, court light window, and boom, the lights. Did I miss any? Have I missed any? Let me know if I have in the comment section below. While you're there, QR code. Scan that. Yeah? Scan it. Then you subscribe to the channel. See? There it is. Look. Scan it. You done it? You done it? Oh, okay, cool. Right. You can also, as an option, get a fabric roof that opens up. Like this one. See? I like this. You've also got 7 colour options. One of them is an exclusive colour to this car. So let's start with glacier white, urban grey, starry black, carmine red, terracotta brown, cloud blue, which is the version that we've got here, which is my personal favourite, and the exclusive colour is the Haute de France green. Yeah, I like that one though. I like that.
Size-wise, confusingly, the 4 isn't smaller than the Renault 5, as you might expect, even though it is based on the same platform. Now, this platform has been tweaked to make it longer than the R5, so it's 12 centimetres longer, and the wheelbase is 8 centimetres longer, so yeah, more legroom. But it's still pretty dinky at 4.14 metres long. Mind you, the 4 does share 68% of its components with the Renault 5, so that will help keep costs down. Now, before you start having a go at me and going, Nicola, can you start driving already? All right, fine, I'll do it.
Last time I was here, I was chucking it down, but today it's very nice, which means efficiency-wise, probably not the best day to tell you everything because this is not the kind of weather we normally get in the UK. But hey, look, we've got one battery option. That's a 52 kilowatt hour usable battery that will give you around 247 miles WLTP. I will let you know efficiency figures as soon as I arrive at my destination to see how we'll actually get on. But obviously it's warm, it's sunny, it's glorious here in Portugal. How will it behave in winter? I don't know yet. I don't know. We have seen figures drop a little bit when it comes to the Renault Scenic and when it comes to the Renault 5. So we can probably expect the same, I'd guess. But power-wise, we have 150 horsepower, that will do 0 to 62 in 8.2 seconds. And yes, it comes with a heat pump as standard. Ba-boom, love that. Which should mean it should perform better in winter, but we'll have to wait and see when it arrives in the UK and it arrives in our terrible weather. But let's be honest, it'll be terrible weather by summer. So we can probably do a test in the next few months, hopefully. That'll be handy, wouldn't it? Now, you might have spotted online that there is a smaller battery version, a bit like the Renault 5. There's a 40 kilowatt hour battery, but that's not actually coming to the UK. That's only existing in Europe because that only comes as the Evolution trim. But the Evolution trim in the UK will be the 52 kilowatt hour battery. So one battery option only. Then you've got Evolution, Techno and Iconic trim. The version we've got here is a Techno trim, mid-spec. We do have regen braking that goes all the way up to 1-pedal driving. Yes, because they're all controlled by the flappy paddles here behind the steering wheel. So we flappity flap, flappity flap, 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 all the way to the right. And now I'm just coasting. I'm not even touching the accelerator. We are just coasting beautifully. And then I flappity flap, flap all the way to the left. I can feel the brakes working. 1 pedal activated, stunning. There's no one behind me. There's no one behind me. Stop. Love that for us. Love that for us. That's great. Steering feels quite light, but at the moment I'm in perso mode, which basically means like personal mode. It's not a washing liquid. It basically means that if you set your personal settings, if you want to turn off things like your lane keep assist, etc., you can save it all in your perso mode and then turn that on and then just drive with that. But you can adjust the steering, etc., on that as well to kind of treat it how you would like to drive it. I'll be honest, it drives very similar to the Fiat 600e. Here's the thing, there's so many cars now of this size, of this ilk. So naturally, my brain wants to compare it to the Kia EV3, but I don't think that's the right thing to do because price-wise, it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. I mean, that starts at 32,000. This car starts at 26,995 pounds, 27 grand if you will, all the way up to 31,000. So really, you want to compare this to the Puma. I think that's your best bet. The Puma and the Avenger. God, I like those indicators. I really enjoyed driving that Puma. That was really good fun. And especially when you put it in sport mode and stuff, you can have the fake engine noise and it feels like you're going faster than you actually are. And that was quite fun. This I don't think is a particularly fun car. This kind of falls in the same category. Oh, as the EC3. There we go. That's a bit softer though, isn't it? Because it's a Citroen, a bit more comfortable. This kind of sits in the middle, I think. It sits in the middle of the Avenger, the 600e, and then the comfort of the EC3s on the other end. And the Puma is just sportier and more fun, I think. So it all depends on how you like to drive. It's soaking up the lumps and bumps pretty well, to be fair. There was a bump that we hit as we came out of the airport earlier, and I was like, oh, that sounded thumpy. But since then, it's been all right, so maybe that was a big particular thump. Aside from that, everything that we're going over is like a flum, and it actually deals with the lumps and bumps better than the Renault 5, which they've done on purpose. They said that was kind of part of their design, to soften it up a little bit, but it's not quite as soft as the EC3. Visibility is interesting. The rear window is quite a good size, but because the headrests are quite large at the back there, you've only got a small little bit of the window in the back there. So your visibility is not actually that great. Through your sides and your mirrors and your blind spots, etc., totally fine. But that rear window actually feels smaller than it actually is. Right, let's change the drive modes. Shall we? We shall. Right. Okay. Comfort. Gentle. She's gentle, she's calm, she's, you know, just having a lovely day, you know, gonna pop to Tesco's, drop the kids at the school in comfort mode. Lovely. Eco. Oh, no oomph whatsoever. That's because we're looking after the battery and we don't want to drain things. Lovely. Sport. It's fine. Do you know what's weird is I know that the Renault 5 has the same amount of horsepower as this, but the Renault 5 just feels that much faster. I think because it's smaller, it just feels much faster. No, that's just not really doing anything for me. That wasn't the oomph that I wanted. Let's go back into personal mode, perso mode. I don't want to become that person that ends up banging on about the Puma all the time, especially when it comes to this price range of this size car. But of all of those in that category, which includes the Puma, the Avenger, 600e, EC3, and now this, I think I'd rather a Puma. Because it just feels that little bit more fun. But that's just personal preference. If you prefer quiet, comfortable, you know, can't really go wrong, then I guess you'll be more than happy with this.
This video is brought to you with Andersen EV, the UK's most awarded home charge point brand of 2024. Offering over 200 colour and finish options, a market-leading 7-year warranty and a unique hidden tethered cable.
Charging. You've got 100 kilowatt DC rapid charging, which is pretty standard across other cars of this size, really. That will get you from 15 to 80% in like half an hour or so. In terms of AC charging, it only goes up to 11 kilowatts. So if you can charge at work, I guess you can charge a little bit faster, but from your wall box it's always 7, isn't it? That's fine. No option of 22. Down the side is where the charge port is. French. Oh, ta-da! I quite like that little stripe.
Now, when it comes to cars of this size, boot space is crucial. Now, This car has 420 litres of space, which is fairly decent. There's also 55 litres that's underneath the boot floor, which is for your cables, etc., unless you go for the Harman Kardon sound system. And then you might lose some space underneath there. But comparing it to other cars, the ID3 has 385, the EX30 has 318, so this is really good with 420. However, the winner here is a Ford Puma, isn't it? With that gigabox underneath, that boot space is insane. Over 570 litres of space. I do have to give a shout out to the very low lip. That is all thanks to their nods to the original. Yeah, so it's nice and low if you've got heavy bags, heavy suitcases. Perfectly practical. Something else that's quite practical is, yes, it can tow 750 kilograms, in case you were wondering.
So it's pretty much the same interior as the Renault 5, if you've managed to have a look around that. We've kind of got a bit of samey styling going on, but that's not a bad thing because I think it's quite nice in here. This is the mid-spec techno trim, so we don't have the light up bits that you do get in the iconic trim, but I do think it's very nice in here, and you do get a lot included in the techno trim. So you've got the nice recycled materials on the seats. These are 100% recycled, by the way. You've got heated seats, heated steering, wireless charging for your phone, all included in the techno trim.
Turns out the techno trim, when it arrives in the UK, will not have heated seats and heated steering. Only in Europe, I'm afraid. So if you want your heated steering and your heated seats, you need to go for the top spec iconic trim. I know, it's cheeky, isn't it?
You've got two screens. That one is 10 inches, that is 10.1 inches. This all works really well. Looks very nice, quite nice and stylish, gives you all your driver information. You may notice there's a lot of sticks going on. Now, this doesn't bother me. I know it bothers Ginny because it does seem quite sticky, because that's where your gear selector is, which, by the way, is designed like a Chanel lipstick because French. And then you've also got an extra stick down here for your volume control. So if you can get over the stickiness, the amount of sticks, it's actually quite nice. I quite like having the gear selector there because it's like ba-boom, go, ba-boom, reverse, lovely. This screen isn't exactly groundbreaking, but it is very good. It does have Google Brain. If you are with the techno trim, then it's Google Play, Google Maps, all that sort of thing, and it all works really well. And if you go through the screen, then you can sort of check where your energy's going, and then you go to My Driving, there it is, and it gives you your miles per kilowatt hour. So, well, at the moment, because we're in Portugal, it will say kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres. So roughly, this works out at about 4.7 to 4.9 miles per kilowatt hour, which is pretty good, isn't it? That's pretty bang on the 250-ish WLTP range, but bearing in mind we are in Portugal and it's nice and sunny. But that's fairly decent. You can also get really competitive with yourself, because I know that I do. I've been doing it since the Renault Zoe, that you can check your safety score and your eco score on how well you're driving. I'm not doing well in terms of eco. I know I can do better. You've also got wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, lovely, lovely. And it's all pretty non-laggy. Is that a word? Non-laggy, we're going for it. There are 26 driving assistance, that's really hard to say. There are 26 driving assistance systems within this car. Say that 5 times really fast after you've had a few drinks. There's your challenge. But you can go through here and you can basically chop and change everything to suit your personal needs. So you can turn on your traction control, turn it off if you want to. You can change the steering levels, all that kind of thing, all within this screen here. Now, you have got physical climate controls. Yes, we love to see it for your actual temperature and your fans and stuff. This, I love. I've always been a fan of this, and I'm so glad that they've just kept this and not put this all in the screen. Big fan of that, yes. And then underneath here, you've got a bit of storage that's like a square. And I can't for the life of me figure out what that's for. Absolutely no idea. I thought, was it for the key? The key doesn't fit in there. So by all means, let me know in the comments section below what this thing is for. I've also double checked. You know in the Renault 5, you can get the optional baguette holder, because French, it will fit in here, because it's kind of the same layout. The only difference is there's a 4 there. That's literally the only difference between this and the Renault 5, is there's a 4, because it's Renault 4. Got a bit of storage in here that can be changed. Let me move the key. Sure. You can lift that out. put some extra cups in there. Got a bit of storage in there. That's quite small. I've managed to fit my water bottle in there, but that's quite diddy. But overall, it's quite nice. I quite like the materials. It's all nice and squidgy and on the doors and everything. There's a bit of gloss black. Not so much on here, like you're probably not going to touch this that often, but on the steering wheel there's quite a lot. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of fingerprints on that, and that might bug you a little bit. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. So, you can speak to her because she has a Google brain. Oh, and if you do opt for the canvas roof, you can do that via voice control, which I think is pretty cool. I'm so gutted we don't have that version because that's totally the version I would get. I would so opt for that roof. It would look so nice. It's quite interesting, this. I feel like I'm looking over the driver. I feel like I'm higher up than the seats in the front, which I guess is quite nice. I've still got decent I've got my sunglasses on as well, hang on. I've still got decent headroom, but I feel higher back here than I did when I was sat in the front. Interesting. It's quite nice back here though. I do like the sort of denim-y look, and I like the fact there's little things here and it looks like sort of buttons on your jeans. Do you know what I mean? Got a couple of charge ports here so you don't have to fight over that. USB-Cs, pocket there, little extra pocket there for your phone. Put that in there. It's lovely. Decent sized door bins. Nope. No. No. No, nothing comes down from here. You've got a couple of ISOFIX points, so it's for 2 babies if you've got 2 babies, but we've got a nice flat floor. Lovely. I do quite like the roof lining. It's bumpy. This is a nice nod to the old Renaults. It's the same in the Renault 5, isn't it? It's very satisfying. Yeah, it's quite nice. I'm not complaining.
Now, as it stands, this version that we have here is front-wheel drive only. However, they have left space in the rear for a potential future rear motor. Yes, now we asked during the presentation if all-wheel drive would be coming, and they said, this is an official quote from Renault, "We will explore each possibility over the life cycle of the car. It would suit the car well, so maybe." Or can you imagine the future of a Renault 4 all-wheel drive with a canvas roof in this glorious cloud blue? Yeah, I think Manos will order one.
So back in 1956, the Renault 4 was brought along because the CEO, Pierre Dreyfus, basically said, "Give me volume." So they did. It came along, and I love these old classics. Look at the diddy wheels, they're so adorable. Thing is, when it comes to the new one, it's a tricky situation. I mean, the Renault 5 has kind of been loved by everyone, right? Everyone loves the Renault 5. This is a bit more of a tricky one. There are a couple of members of the Electrifying team that aren't so keen. Tom, that was a badly timed cough. Tom's not keen. I quite like it. If you had 30 grand, what you buying? I know what I'm getting. I mean, by all means, let me know your guesses in the comment section below. I think it's pretty obvious. But yeah, it's nice. I just, you know,